the warm speeches. I did see a lot of whiteout on Ann's speech. I'm really terrified for when I'm done with this presidency. All right. It's remarkable to stand up here in front of you today, a kid from Kodiak, Alaska, who grew up around Bering Sea fishermen, deadliest catch style. Yet raised to believe I could do whatever I put my mind to. But that's not the only reason it's remarkable to stand before you. It's also remarkable because I look around and realize that during my early leadership and growth of Anvil, I really pissed off at least half of this room. So much so that I barely made it on the UCON board at all. As a millennial, I consider myself a disruptor, but to the baby boomer generation, I think it's just called a giant pain in the ass. And some of you may not know this, but I hold the coveted title of the biggest loser for UCON's board. I ran 3 times on the ballot. 3. For a guy as competitive as me, I had to swallow a lot of pride to run again, but I did. 2 years later, I was elected president of the board by my peers. Because a kid from Alaska doesn't give up easily, because I believe I had value to add to the board, and because above all else, I believe in UCON. So when I say it's an honor to stand before you, I mean it. When I say it's remarkable to stand in front of you all, I really mean it. Thanks for not giving up on me. A little bit about my company. We started Anvil with 3 guys, $10,000, and an office in a hotel room in San Francisco's Union Square. I know, all the makings for major success. Oh, and it was 2010, a dead economy that the feds were pumping money into for life support. At that time, my experience was working for Webcorp. Now here I was trying to lead a construction company from nothing to something. We had determination, we had vision, and most importantly, we had grit. But the truth is, I looked around at the success and the size of the companies in this room and thought, I'm never going to be able to do that. It's impossible. And for good measure, a lot of you told me the same thing. Is Anvil a fraud? We'd hire Anvil, but we don't want you to become our competition. You're never gonna make it. Yeah, we got a lot of that. And if you were a betting person looking at the odds, you'd have been wise to bet against Anvil. But you didn't know, those comments lit a fire under me and my other co-founders like you wouldn't believe. So thank you. Yet 15 years later, here we are, over 1,000 employees across the West Coast. We've expanded our scope of work exponentially to water and sewer treatment plants, pumping stations, bridges, and any other challenging heavy civil projects. And as Kurt mentioned, including becoming the largest self-performing debris cleanup contractor in California. We recently led the charge in cleaning up LA wildfires, the fastest cleanup in US history. A team of people and projects that I'm so proud to lead as CEO. And while it's my honor to lead Anvil, I know that our success is only as good as the people we have. Thank you to my retired co-founder, H.T. Tran. To my early executives who believed in our mission, Matt Fitch, Aiden Freeberg, Bo Bloom, Tony Burnham, and the others that have joined in the last decade to take us to the next level. Matt Ozzie, Billy Rabowski, Ben Gordon, and Katie McClain. And to my other co-founder, Richard Leiter, who is here today, I certainly wouldn't be standing here today without Richard's relentless support and appetite for risk and reward. And of course, Ann Howard, my installing officer. Ann holds the title of CFO, but she also serves as head of HR, head of reality check, head of humor, and most critical to our success, head of adult supervision. Since day one. Anvil would not be Anvil without Richard and Ann. I want to thank my family who was here today, my daughter Maddie, and her penguin, and my wife Johanna. If I get to be the head of the household, Johanna is certainly the neck, the spine, and the heart. And like many of you know, this is not easy work. It's long hours, high trouble, and high stress. She's also weathered a lot of the phone calls coming at home I've received over the years. Someone calling to yell at me about something, usually stealing one of your people. Those lovely phone calls always seem to come tight at dinner time. And thank you to my parents, Bill and Colleen, who are also here. Fun fact, I'm the only person in my immediate family with just a bachelor's degree. My dad was a dentist, my mom was a school psychologist. I was destined to be a doctor. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for instilling the work ethic, integrity, and competitive spirit in me, and for understanding that you had a son better suited for construction and medicine. Outside of building a great team, one of the best things Anvil did to shape our success was join UCON. We did it early on, when we had just a handful of employees. We were what UCON calls a Class 1 contractor. This is a really nice way to say really, really small. But it didn't matter to them. I saw how they treated us, and it's the same way they do now. First class service, relentless commitment to the members as people and to our companies. Mark, M, and other UCON team members came to our office. They listened to us. They supported us every step of the way. That's UCON. One of the reasons I'm most proud to lead UCON as president is because the growth of Anvil mirrors the growth of UCON. I know that's a story a lot of the contractor members can relate to. UCON was born out of the need for union contractors' voices to be heard, the belief that they deserve to be heard, and with the idea that to advocate for ourselves, we had to stick together. And UCON was founded with the mentality that all union contractors, no matter how small or big, deserve a voice in the room and a seat at the table. Today, UCON is the most influential contractors association in the state of California and one of the best in the nation. But in the beginning, 50 years ago, UCON had no credibility, no influence, and no real seat at the table. It was through sheer grit and determination and with a relentless commitment to the membership that UCON has become the most influential and important organization in the state for union contractors. We are the leader by a mile. And the momentum for UCON is real. But it didn't happen by accident or coincidence. It was built by a bunch of passionate people who never give up. I don't forget that, and you shouldn't either. Serving as the first president after Mark's departure, I've joked that I'm either the luckiest, unluckiest president in 50 years. So here we are, 71 days in, still going with luckiest. I've known Em, like jokes aside, I've known Emily for years. Like she said earlier, I think we joined UCON about the same time Emily joined UCON. She's gonna do amazing things for this organization. If you don't know her, let me tell you a little story to share who Em is. UCON has a long tradition of the CEO and the incoming president spending a day together before the presidency. As the new CEO, I didn't know if or how Em would want to handle the situation. While on maternity leave last fall, she reached out and texted me some options for a day together in December. Here's the text. Alan, I've been thinking about our President's Day. Here's a few options for you. A boring dinner together, flying World War II planes across the Bay Area, or e-foiling in the San Francisco Bay. Let me know. Oh, don't pick the boring dinner. Since Em and I both have young kids, I didn't think it was proper to dress up in bomber jackets, put some goggles on, and fall out of the sky. So, e-foiling it was. Now, if you don't know what e-foiling is, it's basically surfing the ocean on an electric board that propels itself out of the water and into the air. So on a freezing cold day, in the middle of winter, while she's on maternity leave, Em and I met in San Francisco and spent the morning freezing our butts off while learning to fly through choppy bay waters. Sorry for the bad word, Eddie. One broken 10,000 e-foiling board, a few really good bruises, near hypothermia, and a couple whiskeys later, I am confident UCON has the right CEO. Em brings the energy, drive, and clarity that will help lead this organization into the next era. And if you doubt it, just spend a day with her and freedom. But it's not just the CEO who will lead UCON into the next era, it's all of us together. Most of us in this room have served on boards. We know how boring or bad they can be. Good old boy clubs that spend their time patting themselves on the back, or focused on the wrong things, or bureaucratic nightmares that make it hard to stay awake, let alone get anything real done. The UCON board is different. It's among the best I've ever been on. The staff, the board members, the camaraderie, the problem solving, we are all at the table together for UCON and for the industry. It's the real deal. And let's be very clear, this is a crucial time for us as a board. UCON is under new leadership for the first time in more than 4 decades. all eyes are on us. Add to this that our industry has enormous challenges ahead. Retiring baby boomers, dwindling infrastructure funding, the divisive political climate, the struggle to build a more diverse workforce to meet our needs, and of course, the fast rise of AI. But I truly believe that there's no association better positioned to tackle the industry's biggest challenges than UCON. The time is right now, and it will take all of us together. So as someone who ran 3 times to get elected to this board, it's awesome to stand here today as we enter this new era, filled with challenges, filled with opportunities to take UCON to the next level of advocacy and support for union contractors across the state. But like Anvil, I know that we are only successful with the people we have and the leadership pipelines that we are building for the future. So now more than ever, I want to encourage each of you in this room to step up and into UCON as a leader. My involvement started on the labor negotiations committees. How can you get more involved? Where will you engage? Where will you lead? Now is the time. So to my peers and competitors in this room today, thank you for the opportunity to lead this organization. And thank you for your commitment to work with me to build on the momentum and the founder's mentality that makes UCON so exceptional. Thank you for your trust, support, and belief in this pain in the ass, disruptor. I look forward to this year ahead and what we can all accomplish together. Thank you.